Welcome to the Animo show where the X is silent. My name is Anthony, your host, and thanks for tuning in. This is the very first episode. This is a channel where we go ahead and discuss movies, TV shows, anime, and hopefully we get different points of views on the things coming your way. Now, just to get to know me a little bit better, I have a couple of questions I'm going to answer starting now. So I love talking about movies. I love experiencing movies for the first time. I think movies give you such a wide array of different emotions and things. So this is something that I've always wanted to do, and I'm just pushed right now to start it because of the way things have changed. So you have everything at your fingertips. Everything is straight to you at home on your streaming service, whether it be Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Peacock, Paramount Plus. We just have a lot of streaming services where everything is just available to you the day it comes out. It's going to theaters and to your home. And so I don't think there's going to be a change to that anytime soon. So I think that's pretty fun. As far as if you look at things like you like ordering things off Amazon, you like things coming straight to you. So it's a huge reason why I wanted to start now, and just my love for film in general. So one of the big things that got me into collecting was my brother. He had a huge library at his home, like the one behind me. Maybe his was around this, maybe a little bit bigger. But I would go to his house, and being a kid who's used to renting movies at Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and things, it was like a new thing for me. You know, like the phrase kid in a candy store. And I loved movies, so just having the option of 100 different movies that you want to see is pretty amazing as a kid. You know, you want to watch Teenage Mutant Turtles or Indiana Jones, things like that. So I thought that was really cool. That was one thing that pushed me in that direction. The other thing was buying my first movie. I bought, and I can't say exactly this was my first movie or not, but one I remember specifically was The Matrix, the first movie. I remember going to a place called Dimple Records, and I was just browsing through their movies, and The Matrix was there. It was on sale on DVD. I just remember thinking okay, this is a movie I can watch over and over again. This is definitely a movie when people come over my house, I want them to see if they haven't seen it. The other thing is a huge thing for me, which was, like I said earlier, that movies bring out emotions in you. You start feeling for the characters on the screen, whether it was their story impacted you or the actor is so good at acting, they make you feel what they're feeling. And that's a huge thing. That's the beauty of movies. Some of my favorite movies are The Princess Bride. I think it's one of the best made movies of all time. It has everything. I think another great movie is Interstellar. That might be Matthew McConaughey's best acting in a movie. The other thing I would say is Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. That was a movie where I watched it for almost a year, every night before school, or after school, I guess. I would fall asleep to that movie every single night, almost. So I can literally just hear the movie and know exactly which part the movie is at. It's great. I love all the characters. Ian McKellen is the best. I don't think Lord of the Rings happens without him being Gandalf. The other thing is, like I said before, The Matrix. It was sci-fi meets action choreography. It was amazing. The other thing is Indiana Jones. I think The Last Crusade is my favorite movie just because of Sean Connery, rest in peace. His dynamic with Harrison Ford was just so good. Like, I think they have real good comedic timing. Everything's pretty funny. The other one is Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's a great Indiana Jones film as well. One of my first things that come to mind for TV shows is True Detective. Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey are amazing in the show. I think probably the best acting for a TV show. And the next show that I'm going to tell you is probably the equivalent to that, Breaking Bad. Jesse and Walter White, amazing characters, great acting. That's a good show. If you have not seen it, go watch it now. The next thing is Dexter, everyone's favorite serial killer. That's a great show. I cannot wait till they bring it back. I can't say enough good things about the show. I like his monologues every single episode. And this next one is, I have to put it because it impacted me so greatly at the time, Game of Thrones. Regardless of the terrible finale, I'm sorry to say, the show was amazing up until that point. Up until the last season. And there was some good parts in the last season, but up until that last season, it was my favorite show. I'd have to say. It was probably my favorite show of all time. But yeah, it was very unfortunate to see how, I don't know, just how many things did not make sense to me about the ending. But yeah, hopefully George R.R. Martin saw that and maybe writes the book a little differently. Who knows? If he writes it the same, shame on you. Seriously. The next one might surprise you. It is an older show. I think it started in late 50s, early 60s. But it's a show called Columbo. I love like whodunit, crime, detective shows. And Peter Falk, which is the grandpa in Princess Bride, he plays Columbo, the main detective, and he is hilarious and so brilliant. Like, he's so smart in the show. You want to see how he catches the people every episode, and his interactions with the people becomes like kind of a hilarious thing too, because it's him catching them in lies, knowing that they're lying. It's a great show. And lastly, Batman the Animated Series. I think at the time when I was younger, Batman and Gargoyles were probably my favorite cartoons that came out. They were shows I watched religiously when I was younger, and I own them now on iTunes, but they're shows where you can watch any episode of a show and you don't have to know what's going on previously. It's just you're there to enjoy that episode, and you will. It's great cartoon action with great voice actors. I think probably the best duo, Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. Best Batman voice, best Joker voice. Their duo, I don't think will be beat anytime soon, at least. So the first thing that introduced me to anime was Toonami. Toonami as a kid in America was amazing. You get to watch all the shows that air in Japan with your favorite American voice actors. So it is in English. I'm sorry, but those voice actors in those shows will always have a place in my heart because of that. Although now I do think, actually I know, that the Japanese voice actors are way better. You can't go wrong. But yeah, I got to see shows like Dragon Ball Z, I got to see Gundam Wing, Sailor Moon, Inuyasha, oh man, I think Hamtaro, I think it was pretty funny. But you just get to see all these different variety of anime late at night. I think it came on like after 7 or something like that at night. But I would stay up and I would even watch the reruns of the show, the episodes that I had seen before. And it really impacted me as a kid. The other thing is not an anime, but it impacted me, and I'll tell you the movie, it's Princess Mononoke. It impacted me, it's not anime, but it impacted me in a way that it showed me that animation characters could have such human problems and personalities. Like, you get to see them struggle. You learn something too in like the Studio Ghibli movies, which is, Studio Ghibli is like the equivalent to Disney. It's just Japan's version of that. I would say it's like the best description of Studio Ghibli. But they make movies such as Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo, My Neighbor Totoro, and Princess Mononoke. And this movie had good action. It's one of the darker Studio Ghibli films, but it had like good action, it had good voices. I watched it in both English and Japanese. I like them both. I think Billy Bob Thornton's a voice in there too. Jada Pinkett Smith, Billy Crudup. There's a ton of voice actors. It really shows you like the emotion of animation. Characters are crying, characters are getting hurt, dying even, and you're caught in the middle of this and you start feeling things that you wouldn't normally feel for like animation characters. And I thought that was pretty amazing, and it really moved me to watch more Japanese made things. So it like pushed me to start watching like real anime like Death Note and things like that. So One Piece is definitely one of my all-time, if not my favorite anime. Great cast, great characters. I think every season, they're pirates, so you care about a different shipmate or part of the crew each season a little bit more. Like they kind of, in the beginning of the show, they start focusing on each crew member that joins the pirate crew, and you start building a relationship with this character. So you become really invested. Like I think the show is at almost maybe over 900 episodes right now, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's like 900 episodes in. Amazing show. The next one is Hunter x Hunter. Probably my favorite relationship on screen is the two main characters. Their friendship is goals. Definitely. They will do whatever it takes for each other, no matter what. And the show is amazing. If you have not seen it, you need to watch it. It's very intellectual too. There's like a lot of thought that goes into every play that's made throughout the show. It's great. The next thing is Demon Slayer. I have not seen the movie yet, but the show is amazing. Between the visuals, voice acting, and the story, it's amazing. You need to check it out. Overlord is my favorite character gets stuck in a video game world show. Except it kind of flips it on its ear and you're rooting for an overlord, which is technically a bad guy. But yeah, it flips that, and you really like an overpowered character, and you start getting involved in them getting into a new section of this game that they're stuck in. It's a great show. It is my favorite. It's Sword Art Online is good, but this is top tier for me. Next is Yu Yu Hakusho. It has a special place in my heart, always. Like I said, Toonami. I grew up watching this. I don't think I need to say any more on that. Lastly, Detective Conan. I like it for the same reasons that I like Columbo. I like detective, like whodunit kind of shows where every episode they catch a new bad guy or bad girl, whoever, whatever you want to say. But yeah, the show is pretty great. It's about a detective who he forcibly basically takes this pill and he becomes a child again. And he was like a noteworthy, like world-renowned detective in Japan. And he's now this child who has to figure out how to become big again while solving all these crimes. It's a great show. This show's longer than, it's been going on since 1994. So it's a great show. Just to know that it's lasted this long, that's for a reason. So you should check it out, definitely. So, with this channel, I want to do a few things a little bit different than things that I've seen on YouTube, or I'm not seeing much of, which is I want to go ahead and start every review or discussion with a pre-spoiler review, so I don't want to ruin it for you guys before you actually see it. So I'll just give you a brief description on what the movie or TV show is for you guys to go ahead and check it out for yourselves, and then come back to the video to watch the rest of the review. I want to do that every episode to not spoil anything for anybody. I think we live in a world where things are spoiled so easily on social media. I've been spoiled a few times on Instagram or Facebook, just scrolling through, and someone posts a spoiler about who was the bad guy or what happened in Game of Thrones last night or whatever. So I'd like to, you know, not ruin things for people if I can. The next thing is I do want to have a ranking system. I'm going to be ranking in letter grades, so between F and A+. That is something that's been done, but I do just want to kind of give you a feel of where I, or my co-host, which is my next point, is I do want to have multiple co-hosts on the show, so you always get at least 2 different points of view on something, movie or TV show or anime that we're watching. Lastly, I do want to stay engaged with you guys, so at the end of every episode, I want to go ahead and give you guys a question, something to think about, and something to hit me up in the comments. I'll be sure and reply to those as soon as I can. I will also be taking requests, so if you watch something, whether it be a movie or a TV show or anime, and you really would like me to take a look at that, hit me in the comments with that, and I'll let you know if I've seen it or not, or if I'm going to, and then maybe even moves into a review for a later date. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna hit you with that last question in just a few seconds. Okay, so the question for this episode is, what is a movie or TV show that made you feel something unexpected? So something like maybe there was a twist you didn't see coming, something that made you feel happy or sad, angry, scared, anything like that. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and answer my question. Something that caught me off guard was the movie Insidious. I know it's a horror movie, and in the beginning, or throughout the up to the middle of the movie, it hits you with a lot of things that you've seen before, jump scares, things you didn't pay attention to in the background, things moving around, stuff like that. But at the end of the movie, or near the end of the movie, there is I don't know how to describe him, but like this demon thing that comes out, and it scared the hell out of me. I was expecting something scary, but not as scary as what I saw. And my first time seeing that, it scarred me. It scared me so terribly. I can watch it now, but looking back, holy, the show or the movie was it was pretty good. So hit me up with your answers in the comments to a movie or TV show that made you feel something unexpected. Tune into the next episode, Tune into the next episode for my review of Mortal Kombat with my co-host, which is my cousin, Nick. Take care. Thanks.